Guys, France is on fire. France is on fire. A serious protest hit France today morning. Till this point, as we are speaking, France is on a serious protest.
In Paris, this is a protest called Let's Block Everything, Block on Tout. This is an expression of hostility towards not only Emmanuel Macron's president, but the country's entire governing class. We can see there a restaurant.
The prayer that many African nations have been waiting for has finally been answered. You see, France is collapsing. For many decades, France has been printing currencies for almost 45 African nations. And these African leaders, because they're naive and ignorant, they let that happen. You see, a little tiny nation like this, a little tiny piece of land controls almost half of the continent.
If there's any downfall that anybody or everybody has been waiting for, is the downfall of France. Ladies and gentlemen, France is only at the mercies of Africa. Ever since they were kicked out of Ghana, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, the whole entire Sahel region, they've never been at peace. And nothing even makes me happier than seeing the downfall of our enemies. I've been waiting for this and praying for Africa. By the way, serious praying for Africa, because this continent is at heart. It's the most resourceful continent on the entire planet. Everybody just takes advantage of whatever we have. Yeah, they prosper. Meanwhile, the people over here, But right now, it's the end. Is it the beginning of the end? Yes, it's the beginning of the end. France is not the only one. The British people, the UK is on the verge. German has already... Oof. Guys, I want us to look at some of the reactions. France is on fire. Yeah, it's on fire. I'm so happy. I think we have to look at some of these. We'll come back and talk about it. Just like the video and share it if you feel like it needs to be shared. And if you like this channel and me, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back to talk about it. Just stick around and look at all the clips that I have put, all the resources I put for us to watch.
In Paris, this is a protest called Let's Block Everything, Block on Tout. This is an expression of hostility towards not only Emmanuel Macron's president, but the country's entire governing class. We can see there a restaurant. Live pictures there now. You can see the emergency services have moved in, dousing what appears to be a restaurant in central Paris set on fire. These protests have been condemned by France's interior minister, who is blaming this on, it's not a citizens' movement in any way, he said. It's been hijacked by the ultra-hard left, and some of them are determined to carry out violent actions. There is an insurrectional mood in the air, says France's interior minister. We can certainly see that seems to be the case in Paris. And these protests, Chris Hope, let's get you in, they're expected to rock out across French cities all across the nation. The French are extremely unhappy with the way they're being governed and supposed austerity cuts.
That's right. The original sin goes back to Emmanuel Macron for ordering that surprise election last year that made it even more uncertain about how to get measures through the French Parliament. They want to try and remove rights and some of the benefits that are felt by workers and pensioners, and so it goes on. And it is not, they are not happy in France. I mean, I know we were much mocked as a country by France when we went through a number of prime ministers post the vote to leave the European Union. Well, they've gone through as many, I think, 5 or so.
Macron's gone through 7 of them.
7, is it? 7. Yeah. So I think the idea that we are a basket case internationally after Brexit, well, have a look at the pictures there. It almost certainly is going towards the idea there may need to be another general election in France and try and end the uncertainty. But right now, that is not what the France wants to portray.
Nigel Nelson, it's the left that do these things all the time. Everyone slags off the far right. This is the far left.
I think that this is actually just chaos in France. I mean, if we think our unions are bad, that when they get the bit between their teeth, they really go for it. Yeah. So what you've just seen is the collapse of the French government, the instability to follow you would expect. The basic thing is France has been living beyond its means. They're trying to control the budget. People don't want that, and it's turned into rioting.
the actual quote. Without Africa, France will have no history in the 21st century, was actually said by François Mitterrand in 1957. So those people that keep saying it's Jacques Chirac, it wasn't Jacques Chirac that said it. It was the guy before Jacques Chirac, François Mitterrand. He said it. Without Africa, France has no history. They're in the 21st century, which is where we are. Basically saying they're going to go back to the third world. As you can see, anger over budget cuts. They're cutting budget because, and they're increasing taxes because Africa has cut them off. Their main source of income is gone. So now their retirement, look it up. They're going into their retirement. They have no money. France is the second largest economy in Europe, right? Okay. Right now, ask yourself, French people, what has France used to prop up its economy this whole time? What has France used to build the Champs-Élysées and all the... Africa said no. And remember, the French, what was it? There was a French general that made this video, said this. I'll find the video and I'll send it to you, and I'll make a video about it. He said, if they don't do it right, within one generation, French people will be going to Africa as immigrants to look for work. It starts now.
France is collapsing and their economy is in shambles, but there was something a lot of people is not telling you. The reason why France is collapsing and their entire civilization is up in flames is because Africa, the continent, is cutting them off. Multiple African countries is cutting off France from their resources. You understand why a handful of African countries seem so poor based on perspective? It is because 90% of their income, of their earnings from their resources goes directly to France, and that stabilizes their economy. Niger, for example, cut off France from their uranium, and now Niger is going to use their uranium for their benefit alone. For the longest time, I have waited for this. I waited for the collapse of Europe and see if they can actually manage to pull through without the resources of Africa. Can Europe actually strive without the colonialism on Africa? Is it possible? We're about to find out. The UK is also facing significant pressure from Nigeria, because Nigeria is thinking about cutting these people off as well. If you ask me, Nigeria should have done that by now. Get rid of teaching French in schools and focus on your own language. Ethiopia just opened up a massive game changer, created one of the biggest dams in the world. The day of European rule is coming to an end, and the rise of Africa is finally upon us. I think it's about that time to go back home. I think it's time. But first, a couple things. The civil war in South Sudan and the war that's happening in the Congo. That needs to end ASAP. And all the other conflicts that is happening within the African continent in these African countries needs to be settled immediately. Italy, Roma, Spain, they're all facing the pressure of being cut off or already cut off from African resources. Ladies and gentlemen, colonialism is coming to an end, and I couldn't be happier. Yes. Now we just gotta wait for America to cut off Africa and we'll be golden. That's all I gotta say in the matter. It's on extent.
So the French government has fallen again, but international news media is going to be very shy about telling us the real reason why it's fallen, the economic reasons why it's fallen. On his way out, the ousted Prime Minister, Mr. Francois, said, "You might kick me out, you might remove me, but that does not change the economic problems for the country." I'm paraphrasing. The real reason why France has failed as a government is because Africa has taken its power back. Ever since the country of Niger, in the Sahel, in Central West Africa, decided to nationalize its uranium, France has never been the same again. This uranium that state-owned companies like Orano, French-owned companies like Orano had been siphoning, stealing under the previous government, today, Niger turned off the faucet. Niger said no more. So Niger, under the new governance of President Tiani, is nationalizing its uranium. This uranium France was stealing not only to light its beautiful cities like Paris and Nice, it was also using it to run its electrical manufacturing and industries. All of these are processing and running their nuclear reactors on top of it all. So these things that are the foundations of an economy, like manufacturing and processing, right now that the electricity in France, their energy is not safe. They do not have a reliable place to get their energy from. This is why they're suffering. But it's not going to be told that way on international news media. You're only going to hear it from people like me and others who are truth tellers. So yeah, this is why. This is what happens. This is proof that African leaders are in service of either them or us.
I want to share something very inspiring and very beautiful with you guys. Last year, around Christmas time, one of my subscribers decided to gift me with one of their very best, beautiful masterpiece, a book. Come Back to Me, Eva. And I must say, it took me quite some good time before getting hold of it. But earlier this year, I was able to fully have it in my possession. And by the title, I thought just like any other normal love story. Boy, was I wrong. I was indeed. Because soon as I started reading this masterpiece, my everything got glued. Come Back to Me Eva is more than just a love story. It is a tale of a young black girl trying to navigate her childhood in Canada, but also trying to learn, understand, and discover her family roots, culture, and history. This story is both touching, therapeutic, and healing, especially to some of us that have dealt or still dealing with some sort of abuse and trauma. But besides that, this book is just a whole lot of adventure, and I would recommend it to your read. It is on Amazon. The title is Come Back to Me Eva, and I'm gonna put the Amazon links in the description of this video. It's by a Black Canadian author, and her details are gonna be provided as well. Please check it out because this is great storytelling at hand.
The prayer that many African nations have been waiting for has finally been answered. You see, France is collapsing. For many decades, France has been printing currencies for almost 45 African nations. And these African leaders, because they're naive and ignorant, they let that happen. You see, a little tiny nation like this, a little tiny piece of land controls almost half of the continent. And these African leaders, they let that happen. And now France is collapsing. See, France cannot survive without Africa. France is not capable of surviving on its own. It is because African leaders were letting this happen. They let the exploitation continue. That is why France was actually surviving. And now that France is being pushed out of Africa, many African countries does not want the presence of France anymore in the continent. France's economy is collapsing, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, I don't know if you've seen France. You go to Paris, man. Paris looks like a ghetto. I mean, there's videos of France just look like trash. It's no longer the France that people used to praise, and it's no longer the France that used to be attractive. And no, this is why African nations need to come together. You see, France was extracting nearly $1 trillion every year from Africa's resources. $1 trillion every year, okay? And now that it's being pushed out, it's no longer getting that much money. So its economy is collapsing. Now you can see that it was only depending on Africa's resource for it to survive. How can you let a little tiny nation like that control that many countries? This is ignorance at its best. Africa must control its own economy. So apparently France is running out of money. France is broke. All those billions of dollars they were getting from the Sahel region, the money is no longer coming. Many African countries are pushing France out. So now we know.
So France is broke because African countries have kicked them out and they don't allow them to exploit them anymore. And as you saw, there's a big rally in the country. They're protesting the president, Macron. They want him out. Yesterday, they voted out the prime minister, which was the third prime minister in 14 months. He got a vote of no confidence, the same last three, because the last three prime ministers cannot present a bill or cannot present a plan on how to revitalize the French economy. Now, the only way to present a plan to revitalize the French economy is by re-enslaving or re-exploiting African countries. And Russia is helping African countries. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, they're building nuclear plants. Like, it's helping African countries. That's Russia's plan of picking up the West. So the West is using a proxy war to destroy Russia. Russia is deciding, okay, I'm going to take away your means of living. So Russia has been saving African countries from France. And they have a planned demonstration tomorrow, the 10th. Wednesday, the whole nation is going to have this massive demonstration tomorrow in protest of Macron. But yeah, France is broke. And everything they're doing right now, a lot of the French understand it, but majority of the masses don't. Everything they're doing right now, nothing can be done. The only way France goes back to where it used to be is to find new countries to exploit for resources. That's it. France has nothing. They have nothing. England is next. Oh, I also forgot to add, this is why France has been pushing for a war with Russia. France has gotten 26 countries right now to agree to invade, to go into Ukraine, which is going to be a violation, which will force a war with Russia. The reason France wants this is if it does that, then Russia is now faced with more problems, more wars. Then it takes away some of its resources from Africa. It creates new chaos, and then France uses that as an opportunity to go back into Africa and then find new countries to exploit. The only way France can survive is exploitation. So they need war right now to make that exploitation.
Guys, France is on fire. France is on fire. A serious protest hit France today morning. Till this point, as we are speaking, France is on a serious protest. The population has stormed the street. They are not ready to condone with Macron's incompetency anymore. They are saying enough is enough while he moves around trying to play international politics. French citizens are going through a lot. Companies are shutting down. Life is becoming difficult. Things are going from bad to worse. And they are saying They don't want to take it anymore again from Emmanuel Macron. They are asking him to full account, to dégage. That is, they want him to F off. They are tired of his policies. They are tired of his government. He has brought France to its knees. And if you see in these videos, the population is on the street. The people of France are on the street, rigging chaos in total loggerhead with the police. They are burning places. I mean, France is in a sham as we speak. And there are two things I want to talk about. Before I get there, if this is your first time you're coming across this page, do well to follow me if you like what we're doing here. Like the video, drop your comment in the comment section, and share to as many as possible. So the two things I want to comment here are, if this was happening in Africa, especially in the Sahel, that is Burkina Faso, Mali, or Niger, it would have been all over their media. They would have invited specialists to comment about that. It would have taken like 3-4 a week talking about the same protest. But it is happening in their own soil, in France. Go check BBC, go check France 24, check RFI. They are just, I mean, you see what they're doing. They are not showing the intensity. They are trying everything possible to hide it, to cover it so that the world will not see. But thank God for social media. The pictures, the videos are all over the place. The second thing I wanted to talk about this is, I don't know if our African leaders, some of them, don't think. Look at France, which is on its knees, a country that cannot even manage itself. But our leaders are busy kissing their behind. What is wrong with these African presidents? They are not even leaders. I'm sorry about that. Okay? They are presidents, puppets who were forced on us. Look at someone who cannot even take care of his house. And that is the person most of you guys go to kiss their behind, go to bow down to. It is a disgrace. It is embarrassing to us African people. Wake up, African presidents. Wake up, African elites who have been enslaved to the core, and they have become puppets to a point where they cannot even think anymore. It's time to take back our continent from the hands of these people who cannot even manage themselves. Let me know what you think in the comment section.
France is now ungovernable. You better believe it. France is now ungovernable. The country that actually made its money from bleeding black people. The country that forced Haiti to pay 150 billion for their freedom. And one of the reasons why Haiti is still in the situation it is right now is because of France. France, the country that bled Africa, making sure that the countries that it colonized basically had to pay a colonial tax for being colonized. That country, you know, the country that one of the biggest slave traders in the world, that country has run out of money. They cannot afford to pay the pensions. They cannot afford the healthcare system. Literally, France is literally on the verge of economic collapse. And this is serious. France is in worse trouble than Greece was, except at the time the European Union was so powerful at the time. But now the European Union was weakened by Brexit. The European Union has been weakened by Trump turning against them. So now the European Union, they're just running around like headless chickens. They cannot even bail France out. France is literally on the verge of collapse. And coming close after France is going to be the UK and Germany.
Man, the African nations have shut France down. They didn't think that all this protesting and rioting would lead into Paris. Well, it led into Paris. The French people have this day, this protest day, where it's called Block Everything, and these people are blocking everything from highways to freeways. Nothing is moving. Everything is shut down. The French government, they don't even want to give these people their pensions. They've taken their holidays away from them. This is just how broke they are. They aren't able to pay anything. Not only that, the African nations have kicked the French military out of Africa. So the military don't even have no place to be. So there are no more French men in the military in Africa. They're using their own military, their own people. France is going through it. They did not think this was going to spill over into Paris, but it has. Things are on fire. They are writing all on those beautiful statues. It is a hot-ass mess over there. And Africa, they don't give a shit.
So apparently, France's government is on the brink of collapsing. And y'all know why? Because this has been going on over 50 years. Africa has been sending France 80% of their revenue. Yes, they was in a deal with France, and 80% of the revenue the country made was to go to France, and that's what's been supporting France. France cannot support itself. Africa has been supporting France, and Africa is at the point. So they said, we're not giving you shit else. We're not giving you no more money. And guess what? France is collapsing. They have no money for nothing. I really feel like colonization has come to a head. Like all that shit they've been doing, all the mistreatment and the stealing and the unfairness, it's just coming to a head. So you tell me for over 50 years, Africa has been supporting France, and Africa is poor as shit. Like they don't have nothing for themselves. They should be the richest country in the world because they got so many resources. They go to Africa, they steal their resources, they steal their money. Good for Africa.
Do you ever wonder why the projects is called the projects? Before I get into why, have y'all heard about what Africa did to France? I'm not sure if you're aware, but African countries have been pulling their resources and removing Western powers and people from their resources and their lands, like for the past year and some change. A lot of people may know about Burkina Faso, but this is actually about the effect. That shit is working. The French government is collapsing because it can't sustain itself without Africa. That's what's happening right now. 2025.
Africa is the only reason why Western Europeans get to enjoy such a high quality of life, especially for France. They brag about being able to live well even though they don't have to work as hard as Americans, but they omit the fact that all that comfort they enjoy comes off of the back of African resources and labor. England, Portugal, Germany, Belgium, Italy, and France all made a massive scramble for Africa in the 1880s, and France by far still has their foot in their old colonial ways. And even though these African nations have declared their independence, France and a couple other countries are still exploiting them, and they have given nothing in return to these African nations. They have built very little in infrastructure and construction. They have given next to nothing compared to how much they have taken to support their ways. Out of the 8 African coups that have happened since 2020, 7 of them were from French colonies. The French do not know how to build, they do not know how to innovate, they do not know how to grow democracy in any part of the world, which is why for the past 60, 70 years, they have just had French puppets that were ruling these African countries that finally got sick of how they were being treated. China has only taken an interest in Africa for 30 or 40 years, yet they have built more industry and infrastructure than all of the other European countries combined. So of course, the African nations are going to have a much more favorable disposition towards China since they are the ones who are actually building factories, roads, bridges, hospitals. China is actually divesting a lot of their own resources to make this possible. And you guys know how I feel about a lot of Chinese policy, but they did hit the nail on the mark when it comes to Africa. It is pretty clear that Russia's Wagner forces have had a lot to do with the coups that have taken place in Gabon, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. And even though the Russians aren't trying to actually help anyone, I believe they are trying to foment chaos and destabilize a lot of positions in the West. This can be an overall good thing for Central Africa. Even though the Russians' goal is to create a lot of instability for the West, this instability can spread to a lot of other African countries, and that can actually hurt a lot of China's positions there. Make no mistake, despite what you're seeing in the media, the US will find a way to exploit whatever is happening in Africa. At first, they seemed that they were very pro taking down the Niger coup, and now they've kind of backed off and they said that they are going to respect the current government. No, a lot of these African nations don't have a favorable viewing of the United States. The US will always find a way to profit off of whatever instability is caused. If there is going to be a disruption in the energy supply, I will bet you that the US will make money selling its liquid natural gas and oil. If there is going to be widespread war, the US is going to make a lot of money selling its weapons. I would not put it past the United States interests to have their cake and eat it too. They may be happy about China building all of this infrastructure because that means the US doesn't have to. It means the US doesn't have to invest in anything to make Africa more prosperous and rich, but they can reap all of the benefits for when that actually happens. In my opinion, I think that every Western interest should be kicked out of every African country and then reintroduced as a potential trading partner among peers with equal standing, instead of these African nations having to deal with the West like guaranteed exploiters.
I made a video about 3 months ago and it has started going viral because it was talking about the end of them palm-colored people in Africa. The time for their end is here. Their demise is here. The time of their bowling. And you know they're acting in panic. Because there's not so much time left. You know how the scriptures talk about the devil? That he's so upset and he's so angry, he's coming at you because he knows he doesn't have so much time left. Ooh, I feel it. Can I preach? Yeah? That's the urgency that these people have. My people. Are you seeing how a lot of them are conflicting with each other? A lot of them are fighting against, the immigrants and everything. Like, they are so angry and bitter. It is a sign that their time has come. And unfortunately, it looks like they can't do so much about it. Their populations are going down. They're not producing anymore. They are the chihuahuas. Chihuahuas love barking and they have anger issues. But a chihuahua can't do so much on you. I'm sorry to liken them to dogs, but I don't think they will find it offensive, considering the fact that actually they respect dogs more than they respect humans. Their dogs have better beds and sleeping conditions than the people of Africa that actually sponsor the luxuries of their lives. No more. The time of the children of the Most High to awaken and, manifest in their full potential and glory is here. And I'm going to tell you this. Nobody is ever going to stop this move. Doesn't matter who you call yourself. You're not going to stop this. Yeah? The flames of revolutionaries, the flames of liberation, the flames of liberty are coming up slowly by slowly, but I'm telling you, it is working. France is in shambles right now. It is burning down and everybody is worried. You know how so many people have always said that the West is always and will always stand at the mercies of Africa. If Africa puts a tight whatever knob on their resources, you've already started seeing Germany. Yeah, you've already started seeing UK. You have already started seeing America. You have already witnessed what is going on with France. And I think this should be enough to tell us what is coming. And I must say, I waited for this and I prayed for this when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I prayed all those years that I mentioned. I prayed for the rise of Africa. I was blessed to have the best teachers, and I think I just want to give you a shout out. I know you don't know that I do this, but I know you won't be surprised if you find my voice here, because that is who I was even in high school. Not just high school. This is the girl that you guys taught at university too. Yeah, this is me. So for sure that I was about the business of the things you guys taught me. I'm super grateful that I had the most enlightened people that were Pan-African that actually led me to the path that I am on here. And I also appreciate the amazing melanated community that I have met that have also rekindled my fire. That's why you see the passion, the joy. I waited for this. I prayed for this. And I patiently had faith to see this happen in my lifetime. And I know my children are going to see better. I think for everybody that used to speak so ill of Africa, I think this is time to know that progress might be taking so slow, because liberation does not take just one day. Yeah? The cleansing that need to happen on the continent started with France and her partners. And now it is that time. The people in France probably don't even know what is happening on the ground. They don't know why, all the failures and everything. Yeah? But I think you are warned that it is African resources that are giving you education for your kids, that are giving you health care. It's at the cost of African kids. It's at the cost of the health care of Africa. Yes, that most of these Western countries are, as developed as they are. Ladies and gentlemen, when we see the numbers of these people going down, When we see them trying to, kick the last kicks of a dying horse, that's what we are seeing. They are going to talk. The propaganda is no longer working. Oh my God, what a time to be alive and witness the weakness of the Western propaganda failing so terribly in Africa. To an extent that now even palm-colored people are noticing. They're like, nah, we were lied to. We were lied to. And I think it is time for every African country that seems to be so nice. I come from Uganda, Bandangi, we are so nice. We are so, so nice. Every person that comes over here doesn't want to leave. I don't have any problem with people visiting. And I actually like it if it is melanated people that are coming from the West to come and finally reclaim and settle and build empires for themselves. Because at the end of the day, if they're building these empires, we don't expect them to take them back to the US or anywhere else they are coming from, because these people are fed up. It's only white people, it's only the Chinese and so-called other people that literally take from us. But from what it looks like, all other melanated people, when they come to the continent, they build to stay, because the other lands are not there. As when they make it to the continent, that's when they realize, oh, this is home. But we were told it's not home. Oh my God, I cannot be so much excited like I saw all those reactions of the people literally overpowering the so-called powerful. The empires are crumbling and they are going down. And let me tell you this, it's the hand of the Most High. Lord knows that by the use of weapons and everything, those people are very destructive, right? We probably could not overcome, but the Most High has reduced their numbers, counting their ribs like, He's doing it in the Most High way. And oh my God, I'm so happy and I'm super, super excited to see this. Yeah. Whatever they did, because sometimes people like this, you might think, oh, I don't think, we'll ever be able to overcome. Well, the battle is not ours. The battle is the Lord's. That's what scriptures say. And if you fight one of us, you are fighting him. You're like himself. And one of the things that I know about the Most High, he's never lost a battle. Now, I'm not here to preach, but guess what? I am a believer and I have seen him overcome so many things for me. And I guess I am a testimony, and I have every right to tell you that the Most High that I know that I serve has never lost a battle. This battle might not be of weapons, but he has a way. And guess what? This continent, in 2050, it's believed that in about more than 1 in 4 people will be African, to be specific, black, which is even more detrimental to the growth of the continent, because out of these people, all of them are going to be young people, or the youths. So they are extincting, but then they are not just extincting themselves, they are empires. It's so good. So good. They are not just extincting, but even their empires are collapsing with them. Let's see, which legacy are you going to leave? I'm super, super excited that it's not just them that are extincting. Their empires and the legacies that was built out of robbery, looting, and genocides, and it's all going down. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you, the Most High. You indeed are the Lord of hosts, and you are the Lord of your people. So, for you, my brothers and sisters that are watching me from the diaspora, this should be an encouragement. If you've watched the oppression of your people, the time is here for each and every one of them to pay. Imagine looting, but then you are losing everything. How about that? All the spoils that you stole and never wanted to take accountability and give back, you were holding so tight to these people. Look, the German Empire will be going down. The UK on their way. Yeah, US. Of course, you know what is happening. If you are melanated and you have the capacity to visit the continent, please, 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 please visit, because this is the time actually where you would get the best opportunities. We've seen them fighting in South Africa, but I know they are not going to win either. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm just so excited to share this news. Let them be at our mercies. It is time for them to come and beg us for food. They're going to come and beg for food. They have destroyed their soils with all, the weaponries they've been making and all of that. Their, environment, whatever climate is the worst, everything is going to be here. They will kneel down. God will cause our enemies to kneel down, bow. I'm just excited. I'll see you guys later. Put those thoughts in the comment section. If you like this channel and you like the content that I do just a variety. Just subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. My name is Gracie. Love all of you. Stay safe out there, and God bless.